Hello, everybody. It's good to see you. It's good to see you. Thank you for coming, for tuning in to the second part of Forex. Yeah, on learning how to do Forex. And yeah, man. So this time we're going to talk about Trendline. So for those who don't know what a Trendline is, let me just quickly show. Sorry. So for those who don't know what trends line are, yeah, that's what I was looking for. Oops. Oh, what's going on? So these are trend lines. Yeah, sorry. So a trend line is literally from one end to another end, right? That's a trend line. And a trend line consists of 2 points, right? So from point number one to point number two, and all we do is just going to extend the line that makes it a trend line, right? Another example here, we can take this point number one, and point number two here, where the wicks are from wick to wick, is a trend line. Okay, so that's literally what a trend line is. So now the reason why we call it a trend line, because a trend line is supposed to follow a trend. So now as we are on the gold chart, and this is like now the monthly, when we go scroll back, we can see that the overall trend of the gold market in general was an uptrend. It's just going up and up and up. We can see it's a literally uptrend move line. From we could take from this low part to the second point one, and point two here is over there, like there, point one, like point one, point two. That one is an up is a trend as well, and that indicates an uptrend. Okay, that literally just indicates an uptrend. So we now know we are trending up. Simple. It's nothing more, nothing less. So the reason what people don't understand about trend line is like that a trend line is also another form of support on resistance, right? Sorry, we have also our previous like support and resistance area, which I've marked up earlier and first course, but I'm just going to delete them because if not, it becomes a bit confusing. Blah, 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 blah. Yeah, so just going to delete everything. In fact, let me just delete all the markings. Blah, 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 here. Remove drawings. I've removed everything, so now the chart looks very blank, which we like. We love that. So yeah, so again, like I said, it's an uptrend. It's a trend. The trend goes up, and that makes a trend line for 1 point from point A to point B is an uptrend. Yeah. So the positive part is like what people don't understand. A trend line is also another form of a support and resistance area, right? Trend line represents also another form of support or another form of resistance. Yeah, another form of support, another form of resistance, right? So as we earlier knew what a support and resistance are, we understand that a support area is an area which rejects, right? Rejects or an area which supports. It depends on how we want to see it, and it will supporting the up move. And the rejection area or the resistance area is also another port which either rejects or resists. Okay, so like just in case you forgot again, let me just quickly just recap. It goes up, it rejects or resists, is the resistant area, and then it also again moves downwards, and here it rejects or supports what, an up move. Okay, so that's just literally support and resistance. Okay, so that's the same idea in regards to trend line. Right now it's very hard for us to understand, okay, how we'll be able to use that trend line effectively. So right now, first of all, the reason why we use the trend line, number one, write it down, is for the direction of the market. We need the trend line to understand the direction of the market. Is an uptrend or is a downtrend. For instance, here it was used to be a downtrend. Okay, so in this case, it would have been point 1 and point 2, like is week to week. So we know from this point to this point is point 1, point 2, and now we know that it is definitely a downtrend, right? It's trending downwards. Okay, so that's literally it. So now we know it's like it is it helps us for the direction of the market. Number 2, it also is a place of support and resistance, like I explained. So now, as we take this as an example again, point 1, point 2, now we have extended the trend line all the way down, right? Now that we've extended it, so now we can see it's also like resistant area, rejection, right? So how do I know? You know, the first point is like here, number 1. Let me just write it down. It's like number 1, okay, is this point. Boom. Number 2, oh, sorry. So Camino, all right there. Number 2, okay, and then the same thing we have number 3, right? So 3. So number 1, number 2, and this is number 3. Okay, boom. So what it represents is like this area has been touched. So the first trend line I started seeing from 1.1 to 0.2. I extended it, right? And all we see all of a sudden is 0.3, that it has been a rejection. Can you see that? That as I'm zooming in a little bit, you can see by the third touch, there was a little bit of a rejection down here. So it is rejection here, and then from that point, it decided to do what? To move all the way to the down. So we can see again. Remember, we're on the monthly charts. So literally for the next 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 months, the market was moving downwards. Yeah. So, but what happened is like it touched the third time on the third touch of the trend line, which now represents also a resistant area. Yeah, that's what a lot of people don't understand. They always say, okay, trend line is just like it's just for the trend and etc. And that's it. No, it's also an area of resistance. So in order for us to understand that, like we can see there's an area of resistance, boom, and then resisted, and then went all the way down for 5 months, right? And then we have here another area of support. Yeah, this area of support. It was not able to breach it, right? It wasn't able to breach it, and it formed a newer lower low. We can see it here. It formed a newer low. All right, that's where I formed a new low. Into black real quick. All right. Okay. So this is one. This is another form of like this is support. That's a support area, a new support area, and this was the third touch, and it was a resistant area, and then went all the way down. Bam. Okay, for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 good months, and went all the way down. Okay, so now again, that is just on a monthly. So for 5 months, we have been on a down move for 5 months. The trend didn't change. It was always an uptrend. It was always an uptrend throughout here. It was also an uptrend throughout for a couple of years now. I've been for an uptrend. Then I did retest, right? I went all the way down. Well, the trend has changed a little bit, but not really. It was just for a couple of years. It went to the downside, and then now I retested, and I decided to go to the upside. But the upside was always available anyways. As we can see, it was always going to the up. Then if for instance, this would have broken this area all the way down, then we know we're in a down. But as long as it didn't break this area here, you know, which is another support, or didn't break this area here, which is another support, we know that it's definitely going to the upside, which it did. Yeah. Okay. So that is now the trend line. Yeah. So now another example. let me go to the weekly. Okay. Again, go to the weekly. Again, let me take this here. Let me show you guys something. Just remove all the drawings. So I'm in the weekly chart, do replay or recap. Oh, here, okay, no, that one is fine. So here, we're here on a weekly, all right? So as we're on a weekly, we can see like, rejected once, rejected twice. And now what are we? Are we on an uptrend? Are we on a downtrend? We don't know again. So we use the trend line to determine what trend it is right now in a weekly form. What we are on the weekly, that's a weekly trend. So where are we on? So we are on the downside, okay? So we still know that here there's an area of resistance, all right? We know that price is going to we know that price is still on the uptrend, right? We know that, okay? But we just don't know for how long. Okay, we have no clue for how long, and we also don't know if there might be a possibility that might break here. Yeah, it will break this area, and then it will retest at this area, and then it will go downwards. Like, we actually have no idea of what is going to happen. Okay, since we don't know what's going to happen, we need to, work as if we are in the market, and we need to do what the market is actually giving us. So now we know that's an uptrend. We know that's a inner trend, downtrend, right? Then we go to the daily, okay? Then we still see like, we have touched this once to twice. Yeah. Daily, still nothing there, right? Then we go to the 4 hours. Let's see what we can find here in the 4 hours. All right. Sorry. Again, so now we're on the 4 hour. That's now a 4 hour trend as well. From here to here, second point is there. So so the second highest point is like number 1 and then number 2, right? The second highest point, 1, 2. I will give you guys more examples. Yeah. So like, it's just not just one example. It's not enough because it's a bit complicated. Sorry. So that's it. So we have another example here, right? Again, remember, a touch 1 time, touch 2 time, 3rd time, keep dropping. Yeah. So we can see again that has touch number 1 again. Sorry. So 1, first touch. Then second touch, right? And a 3rd touch here has been rejected again. So we can see again, it's again a sign of rejection. First touch, rejected here, boom. Second touch, boom. So initially the second touch, the second touch was here, right? The initial second touch was here, bump. Then I rejected here, the 3rd was there, right? The initial was 1, then what was 2, we waited, then a 3rd here touch, then went down, 4th touch, and then it just keep dropping and keep dropping. So now we know by default that there is a high chance that the market's gonna break, right? Because it's just gonna keep dropping and dropping and dropping, okay? So now what we know is like, if the market is constantly on the down move, right? Like it's here presented, and I do replay load, you can see it just kept dropping, right? Just keep dropping and keep even dropping more. You can see that. So we now know that it has dropped like what? How many times? Like 1, 2, then rejected again. Then we can see that the market was right, that it will keep dropping. The 3rd time, the 3rd touch was here. Sorry. The third time we'll see her. Sorry that if I'm a little bit confusing, it's because I'm a little bit ill at this time, and yeah, sorry about that. If, like I said, if you don't understand, let's just go through the videos again, trying to learn it. Like I said, I always do like every day, weekly live sessions anyway. So if there's anything which is a little bit unclear, you can always ask questions on the live sessions, and then I will try to help you as best as possible. And just follow me, and it will make sense. It will just make sense. So now we can see like on the 4 hours. So now we have the first trend line, which was on a monthly, right? We found the trend line, no, sorry, on a weekly. We found a trend line on a weekly. You know, we draw the trend line on a weekly, boom. Then that's just touch number one. There was number one and number two, and then there was no third touch anymore, right? Then we went to the daily. We wasn't able to find anything on the daily. There was not really a proper trend for us on the daily, right? Then we decided, okay, let's go to the 4 hours to see if we can find there a trend to determine in the 4 hours like what is happening. Then we found those 2 points from point number one and point number two, then point number three, and then it started dropping, right? So now initially, if like let's go to replay, let us say all this would have not been there, then the trend would have been like this. All right, would have been like this. That would be point number one, and that would be point number two, and then we would have played out, bam 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 bam, and then once we see a new high, once it is broken, right, then this trend line here becomes invalid. Let me see here. This, because a trend line makes of 2 points, right? That becomes invalid because this area got broken. Okay, this area got broken. Here, this area got broken. All right, and because this area got broken, we now need to adjust the trend line accordingly to what it really is. So now we adjust it from week to week. Okay, and then we just wait for the third touch. So we know that it broke. So now we know that, okay, then a retest, and then we just wait for another touch. Boom, a touch there again, second touch. You know, I wasn't able to break, then we readjust it again, and now we wait for a third touch to confirm, and that could be a good entry. It's a third touch, bam, further, and then we go down. That's it. That's how it is, and that's how we know that is a trend line, right? So what is also important to know that, again, I'm on the 4 hours, right? So in each time frame, there's a different type of a trend. On each trend behaves a little bit differently. Again, the higher the trend, the stronger the confirmation. So now if I now know, for instance, this one is a daily, right? No, sorry, this is a weekly trend line. We know that's the weekly, the black line down here, there's a weekly trend line. Yeah, we know that's a weekly trend line. But if we know that this weekly trend line will be broken, right, we now know, okay, there's a strong indication that it might gonna go up, right? But it also shows us that, look, that's a resistance, the trend line, and that's a resistance, and it's on a weekly. Since it is on a weekly, there's a higher chance that this trend line might not gonna be broken, like in this example. Again, before we can actually draw a trend line, it has to be done in 2 points. 2 points, right? So for instance, we are now on the 4 hour charts. Okay, now let us say all this wasn't here before. Okay, we take that off. Let me just delete it. On the 4 hours, we take it off. Boom. Oops, sorry. Take this one off, right? And I draw another trend line. So let us say everything would have been here. I do repeat button. Sorry. Boom. Take another one. Boom. So now in this scenario, how would I be able to draw a trend line? Right? I don't know. The only way I do know is because of wicks, right? So what we can see is this. We would use this scenario from here, week 1 to week 2, this week, and we're just gonna extend it, right? Because it's the higher high, then higher low, and then lower high, right? That's higher high, the second highest high. All right, so that's the first highest high, which the highest point, and the second highest point. That's what we always, place in a trend line. So right now we know we're on the 4 hour. Okay, so the 4 hour trend line is a little bit weaker than the weekly, daily, the monthly. Okay, so everything can happen in 4 hour. It could break and it could continue go upwards and etc. So now let's just work with the trend line and let's see what could possibly happen. All right, so again, do 10, bum 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 bum, do a bit quick. So now we can see nothing has happened yet, so it hasn't been touched. I'll do a bit slower, do a 3. Okay, nothing has been touched, so now we know it's gonna drop, it's gonna drop, it's gonna drop, right? So now we know, so now it has been touched and has been broken in this area. Okay, so now one indication of those trend lines, okay, of a trend line, is we now also know as long as it's below the trend line, we know, okay, you know, there's still a possibility of a trend. It's still going down, it's still doing, it hasn't been touched, nothing. So now we know we have our first touch and our first break. Okay, let's see what's happened there. Next, boom, it broke. Now that it has been broken, what do we need to do? Now we need to adjust our trend line because the trend has been broken. The trend has been broken. Yeah, the trend has been broken. Up. What am I doing, man? So the trend has been broken, and now we're trying to figure out, okay, what is the next move? Because we actually don't know now. It is broken. What is next? Right? Again, we're still in a down move. We're still in a downtrend. How do we know? Because nothing has been broken yet for us to tell, okay, it's gonna go up, it's gonna go down. We don't know. However, what we're gonna do is we have now point 1, point 2, point 3 has been broken. Is a possible indication that it might gonna go up, right? And that's why we always need to be careful with trend lines. That only because it breaks, it doesn't mean it's an indication it will go up instantly. Again, we need to apply just other support and resistance area. Okay, we have now received this. It was a support, it was a resistance, it broke through the resistance. Now we're thinking it might gonna go to the upside. Let's see what's gonna happen, if it's actually gonna go to the upside or if it's gonna continue going down or whatever. However, so now it has been broken. Now it goes, keep going up, keep going down, boom. All right, so we now know okay, something is up. It's gone broken, we thought it's gonna go up, no. So that's why we need to adjust, right? So now we realize it was the wrong choice. So we're gonna adjust this one, boom. Then again, it broke again. We're gonna adjust this one, boom. We don't know, okay? So we keep adjusting to this point, okay? So now we have adjusted those two trend lines, and now you guys will think, how's that gonna help me, etc. It's just keep breaking. I don't even know what to do, and etc. etc. But again, the trend line only works to the trend line only works together very well with support and resistance area and with structure. But I will show you more about structure. All those things merged together will help us to understand how the market works, and it's almost like you need to see it like different guns, or you need to understand that every stage you need a different bullet, or to every enemy you need a different weapon in order for you to kill the enemy. So one of those weapons is support and resistance, one is trend lines, then we have Fibonacci and structure and candlesticks analysis. There's just so much more to trading that what we think it is. So this is just one aspect of it, right? So that you have a little bit of understanding. So now that's what we're gonna do. So now it has been touched once, has been touched twice. Now we see the third touch, okay? Because of the so we have adjusted it. So if we have adjusted it here, so first of all we was here, boom. First touch here, boom. One touch, it broke. Then we adjusted the second touch, or third touch. Now at this point we can indicate, okay, you know what, that might be a good sell scenario, okay? So now this is long. I will enter here, boom. I see the third touch, boom. I enter there, right? I have my stop loss somewhere here, okay? And then, yeah, my target will be whatever. My target could be here. That's my target, right? 2.7, 2.6, 2.24%, okay? And yeah, let's see what's gonna happen. So now that's an area of resistance as well. There's an area of resistance, a new resistance area, and let's see what's happening. So what we're gonna do, boom, 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 and then boom, it broke, came up, boom, and then what happened? It started breaking. It's underneath. So now I'm in profit still, right? I'm still in profit. It broke, it came up, rejected. I'm still in profit. Now I've adjusted the trend line again. It's a like again 1, 2, second touch. So now it's a third touch. So there's a possible entry as well. Okay. Yeah. Let me do. I'm just playing around. I don't even know what's going to happen. To be fair, there's a possible entry, maybe here. Maybe do a possible entry here. Again, same target. Okay. And then let's see what's happening. Maybe I'm really lucky. Oh, okay. Okay. So let's see. Maybe it's gonna take me out. I don't know. Yeah, it took me out. Right. And I went all the way down. Boom. Boom. So right. So it took me out. Okay. So and I'm happy that it took me out. That we have a little bit of understanding of what happened. So basically, so that was the first touch. So it was a second touch. First touch, second touch, rejection, boom. Again, that's the trend line there, boom. There was another trend line I could have taken from this point on to this point. Okay. Then, yeah, market decides to go all the way up, right? It took me out here. So now I was initially in profit, I went off, then I was already in profit here. Then here there was an indication for me. I could have taken the money. Okay. Then, yeah, I didn't take it. Then it broke. Okay, it broke. Then it retested this area. Okay, it retested this area. Sorry. So retested this area. So now we can see that all of a sudden the support, the rejection, rejection of the trend line now all of a sudden broke through and it became a support. So this candlestick now was an indication for us to enter and to go for a long. Okay, but yeah, to go for a long and then to hit this target here, right, as we can see there, and yeah, as we can see here, that's the target, and then it went all the way up here, boom, and then as we can see, it went all the way down. All right, so the idea, so my target was hit here, however I got taken out here earlier. So now the problem is, and that's one of the problems with Trendline, is like what I just did was just based on Trendline. Okay, just Trendline. I didn't use Fibonacci. I didn't use a market structure. I didn't use nothing like that, right? For me to really understand what might go on with the market. I also didn't look at the daily, weekly, or monthly to really understand of what really goes on of the market. So of course, it was not the right decision. But again, I wanted to prove a point that trend line and market structure are always the same, and that trend line and support and resistance are the same, and you cannot trust it. So now this is the 4 hour, and because it's the 4 hour, eventually it got broken. So if I would just focus on the 4 hour trend line, is of course it get broken somehow, right? But if I don't know what I'm doing, then of course it will be broken. I'm lose money. I made a little bit of money here. Then I thought, okay, it will go there, but I knew it will probably come and then retest in this area, right? But all I did was just to show an example, just for us to understand that since we are on this journey, every technique we use, that first of all, we're gonna lose anyways. So we have to get used to losing. That's number one. Yeah. Then we have to understand that you can never be 100% right. That's just the thing of Forex, right? And all what we do is just based on the information we're receiving in order for us to make a bias and to know, okay, no, that's the right approach to do X, Y, Z. Okay. So what we're gonna do is that's now the 4 hours. Now let's see what else we have. Now we're here on 4 hours now. Okay, that's another trend line opportunity. We take this trend line from here, point 1 to point 2. Okay, got broken. Now we don't know what's happening, so we adjust it again, point 3, point 2 again, point 1, point 2. Now we know it's gonna drop. Okay, and let's see what's gonna happen, how the markets move. Boom, 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 boom. It's just dropping, 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 dropping. Broke through, and then again, what happened? All of a sudden, acted as a support. Support, right? So boom, went all the way up. So it was here, okay. All right, it was here, okay. It broke through this area, like broke through here, did this. So God, man. So did this, okay. Sorry. Did this, went all the way from here to here, okay. So then we touched it here, touched it here, all right. Went all the way down, came up, sorry, came up, and then I retested this area, which all of a sudden was a support. It broke. So that here, this point here is like resistance. It resisted, 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 resisted. Came up, broke through, became a support. Then it went all the way up, came up, came down again, came all the way up again, and then boom, ended, and it reversed, and then now it's gonna go down. So in order for us to really succeed with the ideas of Trendline, yeah, in order for us to really succeed with the ideas of Trendline, we need to understand market structure. Market structure is something which is gonna come on the next course, okay? That you really understand the power of trend lines and the power of market structure to combine, plus support and resistance areas, all right? So because based on structure, I could tell it was here a broke structure, boom, okay? Broke structure, then I knew that a broke structure, so I know that's my lowest point. That will be my lowest point, okay. Also knew that there is a higher high, higher low, higher high. So that was the last higher high, okay. Because there was more rejection here in this area, okay. And I knew as long as it's not gonna break this area or this higher high, I know we're gonna still be on a lower end, which did. It went up, bum, 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 bum. The last, like, it's literally, yeah, that's the last point of low, exactly. So came up, rejected here, boom. Came up again, rejected twice, boom. So you can see that in this area, like got rejected like how many times? 3 times. Boom, rejected. So even if I go back to replay mode, and then if I would have just done this, okay, and then just take this one and just extend it to this side, all right, because it's the last high, and it went all the way down, and then would have just decided to enter from that point, boom, I can see the rejection there, boom, okay, that's an indication. And it came up, because we still know we're on a downtrend anyways, right? The trend hasn't changed, boom, it came up, boom, and again, the second time, entry, boom, and then now it's just gonna drop, and keep dropping, comes up, keep dropping. So I'm glad that you can see how gold really moves and how the market really moves, because if you don't see it in that form, you will think like it's just easy as it is, because we literally don't know what the market is going to do in the next move. We literally we never actually gonna have a clue unless we have like our weapons and everything available, and how we want to move the market, right? So now we are on the 1 hour, now that's the 30 minutes, right? 30-minute charts. I want to see what else we could do on the 30 minutes. I don't know, I don't like the Yeah, that's the 30 minutes. Okay. So that's it. So that's what it is. So that's the 30 minutes. And now that we're here, we don't actually know what's gonna happen. Oh yeah, so that's the last low. Okay, it's here. Use the 30 minutes. Press this one, bum. So we now know that's the last low. Okay, in a 30-minute chart. And in actuality, we are right now still in a downtrend. Okay, we have been rejected once, twice, 3 times. Okay, there's a high chance of possibility. Now we have 2 points again, 1, 2. Okay, those 2 points, 1 and 2 here. Boom, and then again, structure. We play out. Boom, it's gonna break. Bum, 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 and it's gonna keep breaking, keep breaking, keep breaking. So yeah, man, I think that's it so far with support and resistance. Yeah, there's so many different type of trend lines we can draw. There's outer, there's inner, and there's bigger trend lines. We can see to every time frame there's a different type of a trend line. The lower the time frame, the higher the chance that this time frame is gonna be broken. Okay, and what we need to understand is like yeah, so this is what it is, okay. But the good thing is, what helps to really understand if you're on the right trade or if you're on the right trend, is if we have market structure, if you understand the trend, if you understand what time frame it is, and that's why we do a top-down analysis, okay. So if we just do a top-down analysis again from the higher time frame, okay, I do the higher time frame top-down analysis. So now, if I do top-down analysis from the higher time frame, so the first thing I would see is what is an uptrend. I will not see downtrend because what is a monthly, okay. There's a monthly one, or draw it maybe from here to here. I could draw it, okay. It's broken. Now it's broken from here, bam. I'll be like, okay, but it's broken. It's indication that the market could still go down. Why? Because it broke the monthly the monthly uptrend. However, the overall trend is still in the up. Yeah, if you just look on the long-term run, it's still up. It's not down, okay? So now, okay, now we have an idea, okay, it might gonna go up, all right? So let's see what other trend lines are there. So let's go to the 4 hours, okay? Now we're on the 4-hour trend line. Let's see what has been happening. Just gonna remove all this. So on the weekly, sorry, on the 4, we're on the weekly. So we're on a weekly. Now the weekly trend line is a little bit different. So now we're on a weekly. Okay, that's the weekly trend line. Boom, we checked here from there to there. Weekly, boom, tells me, okay, it's gonna go down. All right, that's a weekly sign for me to understand. Okay, cool. If it's happening in this area, then it might gonna go down. Okay, then we go to the let us say daily. So now the weekly tells me it's going down because it's what the weekly trend says. However, what do we believe? We do believe the the monthly trend, which is an uptrend. However, because it broke through the monthly trend, yeah, this one, okay, because it broke through that trend, which is the monthly. I'll do it in red. Take another color because it's red is a monthly. It broke. Now we have indication that we can say, okay, even the monthly trend got broken. Yeah, it broke through here. So it is true that it's gonna be somehow for the next couple of weeks it's gonna go down. Okay, and we also do know that yeah, the weekly, now we did a downtrend, yeah, and it didn't touch the weekly or broke through the weekly. So it seems like it's still in a down for a little bit of time. However, the first indications, we have a support line here that it could be that this area needs to be broken first to confirm that it will go all the way down here, or it will be this area is an area because it's a monthly resistance that could be used as a support, and then it's gonna go all the way up. Okay, but as for now, our bias now is definitely downwards. Okay, then we go to the daily. Cool. Let's see what we see in the daily. Okay, in the daily is nothing much we can see. All right, we go to the 4 hours. 4 hours, the same thing. We see a little bit of rejection on the 4 hours here. Boom, that's the lowest point. We see there's a rejection here. It seems like the market wants to go up. Okay, but it didn't break the previous support. Okay, here it didn't break the previous support. It didn't break, so it's still in the down. So we wait, either it's gonna break and then continue, and once it breaks through, it will continue to this trend line, which is the weekly one. We know probably it's gonna go up here or whatever, we don't know, or it's gonna keep dropping, right? So, and the same thing with the like now we go to the 30 minutes. Let's see what the 30 minutes is saying. So that was where it was previously, and the 30 minutes. Okay, sorry, we go to the 1 hour as well, maybe 1 hour. Yeah, so it's gonna drop. So yeah, so let's see what's gonna happen. There was a little bit of rejection there, and let's see if it's gonna drop or fall. Boom, 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 boom. So now we have seen has been falling. Yeah, let's see how it looks on the 4 hours. So initially that was the initial candle. Okay, has been rejected here. Then again, now we are here. It's a retest area. It's a possibility that am I gonna drop? Yeah, boom. A retest this area, like I said. Retest area was here. Okay, and then it dropped all the way down. Okay, that is the power of what trend line. Okay, trend line is not that complicated. You know, we have still the confirmation of the previous trend lines. Okay, we used this one. The long one was the monthly. It broke the monthly. It was a confirmation for us. It will continue gonna go lower. Then we had the weekly. It was a confirmation that it didn't go tapped even the weekly or went above. So we know we're still in a down move. Okay, and we have the confirmation from the, from the 4 hour to see that, okay, you know what, it's still gonna break lower and lower and lower and lower because of the tapping, and then it did what it did. Okay, so I hope guys play around with the trend lines, play around, see if that works for you. Trend line is not for everybody, but as long as you get the concept of trend lines and what the power of trend lines, then it will help you. It will make you trading much more smoother. So just play around, go to replay mode. Just work on the trend line, work on a trend line, support and resistance line. Combine those things together, see how it could work and how it could help you, and then and that's it. So over and out. Thank you for your time, and I hope this lesson was very helpful for you. Okay, bye. Well.